Welcome! It's the Glitter Boom Girls podcast. I'm Robbie-Ann McPherson over here on the East Coast.
And I'm Amy Asbury on the West Coast.
We are jumping right in as usual. We are talking today about a real game changer, a culture shifter, a traffic stopper. It's something I think everybody has been influenced by in one way or another. It is MTV. Dun, dun, dun.
Music videos.
I want my So, everybody knows at some point their addiction to it. I don't think anybody has, at least nobody listening to this show, has escaped the hours and hours of just waiting for your favorite video or you know, just whiling away. So, Aim, let's start with you. So when did you first discover MTV?
Well, I had heard about it from the kids at school, you know, when it first came out. And it's one of those things where I felt left out of. You know, everyone saw Friday the 13th on HBO and talked about all these things. But my parents would not buy cable, you guys. I'm sure there's some people out there who the parents were like, I'm not paying extra on my bill. You know, but anyway, we got a free trial. And it wasn't until 1983. And I believe it came out in, of course, 1981.
Right, August 1st.
So a couple of years, August 1st. So a couple of years, but I was 10 years old. It was 1983. We had a free trial. And that's when I first became addicted.
So mine was a bit earlier than yours. I was in 82. And I discovered it when my mom was, my parents had been divorced, and my mom was dating this guy, and he had cable.
Wow.
And we did, because we never had cable either. And sometimes, like, we'd go have dinner at his house or whatever, and after dinner, I would go upstairs and he would set me up, you know, with the box that's on a wire and it had all those toggles, the cable box, and you know, boom, right on MTV. And I remember at that point, Private Eyes by Hall & Oates.
Of course.
Yeah. They see your every move. So that was like the big video on at that point. Yeah. And so was the Cars Since You've Gone. So like, yeah. And so whenever I hear either one of those songs, I always kind of go back to his little TV room upstairs and like that whole period, that 82. But I remember spending hours and hours just waiting around for, it was either just what comes next or it was one of my favorite videos. And in my case, of course, at the time, that was Anything by Styx. Anything by Styx. So I just was like, you know, the other one too was Pat Benatar's I'm Gonna Follow You. That was another one that was really popular at that time. So those were my initial experiences with MTV. And the VJs, you know, they had like 5, right? There was Alan Hunt.
Alan Hunter.
Alan Hunter, thank you. Nina Blackwood, right? And,
of course.
Martha, what was Martha's last name?
Martha Quinn.
Martha Quinn. Oh my God, how could I forget that? Incidentally, once ran into Martha Quinn in the parking lot of Whole Foods.
Nice.
Yeah.
She always Whole Foods with you. Wasn't that where you saw Sean Cassidy?
Excuse me.
Wow, everybody, if you want to know where to find people.
Hold up.
Whole Foods in LA.
I did. I saw a lot of people at Whole Foods, but Martha was loading her car with a small child, obviously her kid, I'm assuming. And I was parked right next to her, and I was petrified that I was going to back up and run over Martha Quinn's kid. You know, I was petrified that I was going to like back up and, you know, run over her kid. So I leaned out the window and I was like, hey, is the kid secure? You know, and I was sort of joking, and she's like, oh yeah, he's in the car seat. Thank you. Or she, or, you know, whatever the little kid was.
Right.
Just a sweet woman. And oh my gosh, totally ageless, like completely ageless. Yeah. And this was a while ago, but it was long after MTV days. So that's my little aside for Martha Quinn. But yeah, and so who else? There was J.J. Jackson.
Well, there was Mark Goodman, and he had a great perm.
Yes, Mark Goodman. Was that his name? Mark Goodman?
Mark Goodman, and they're all still they're all still DJs on, 80s satellite, either Sirius or one of those
yeah.
satellite.
I know Nina Blackwood has a great show, and yeah, I mean they were I think they should definitely get together and do some kind of book. Maybe it's already out there, like the oral history.
There is one called I Want My MTV. Great book. It goes through kind of, all the people they interviewed, everything that was going on behind the scenes at MTV, and it's really, really funny.
Oh my gosh, I have to get that book.
Oh, so funny.
It's called I Want My MTV?
It's called I Want My MTV.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Great book.
Nice, okay.
Great book.
Yeah, so when you watched these videos, what were you thinking? Like, what were you, obviously...
Well, first of all, MTV was for the kids that had designer jeans and a real members only jacket, not, the knockoffs that I had from Jimco. So I felt cool because we always had the knockoff of everything, or just we were left out. I feel like, I'm sure most of us, there's probably a smaller percentage of us who were cool than not. But I felt like, oh wow, I'm in the designer jeans crowd. I felt like I was wearing Sergio Valente on my eyes, when I watched MTV. And secondly, I thought it was funny that I could sit there as a 10-year-old. Actually, I didn't think this was funny. I think it's funny now. The guy, your mom's date, who said, go upstairs and watch MTV. We were watching women writhing around in body paint in Sri Lanka,
right.
or on the yacht with Duran Duran.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that it was so sultry and so adult. And as children, all of us at this age watched this really adult content. So, and people thought, oh, it's the radio. You could watch the radio. And I loved certain songs. In 4th grade, I believe I was 9, I started hearing songs on the radio. I heard Billie Jean, and I thought, what is this? I heard songs before that, but I thought, whatever. But nothing made me stop and perk up like a dog with a dog whistle than that bass line of Billie Jean.
Oh, yeah.
So to see it, instead of just hear it, to have all your senses going, was absolutely incredible.
Agreed.
So my thought was, I could see music.
Yeah.
I could see music, and it was absolutely fantastic.
I feel you 100%. I was so enthralled because I was such a music addict. I was so enthralled with seeing the artists that I loved, because when you grow up on LPs like I did, you're only imagining it. Now, that's cool in and of itself. And a lot of people say, oh, MTV ruined music and all that. Well, I guess you could argue about that. But when you first see it and you're like, oh, that's so-and-so, and you see the other guys in the band, or it's just beyond the picture in the album sleeve that you were staring at while you listened to the record,
It was enchanting. It was so enchanting.
Oh, super duper. And then you have the actual art of the video, which some of them are better than others. We all know that. But some of it was so cool because the imagery and some of the effects, people were discovering cool little feedback things to do visual feedback. And, there were different like styles and directors. And
it's funny because cool at that time was just something we hadn't seen. And now it's very dated. It's a lot of mirrors breaking and smoke and a white horse and a friggin' tiger,
and a fan, there's a lot of wind.
There's a lot of wind, but I'm going to go ahead and say one of the biggest impressions was made on me by one Duran Duran.
Oh, amen to that.
Who were wearing, the Anthony Price silk suits on a boat with some girl running around with body paint, like I said, and they were in like Sri Lanka or whatever, Antigua. And it was just like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
And then the lyrics, it's like, cherry ice cream smell. And I'm like, cherry ice cream? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I just dropped my like coloring books. I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on a second. What is this? They're wearing pistachio colored and pink and lavender. What am I watching? These guys on they have these, look at their hair. And then Simon LeBon, they always told him to do, apparently when he was younger, he was in the theater. And his mother always told him, eyes and teeth, eyes and teeth. So that's why you see his big, eyes open in these videos. And I just locked eyes with Simon LeBon. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is going on?
I love it.
It was grand.
There are some great stories about those videos in Andy Taylor's bio. And you read John Taylor's bio too, right?
I read Andy Taylor. I think, yeah, Andy Taylor. I read John Taylor's. And it's just cool. I don't know. I don't know that they were so into the actual video, or they kind of just did what they were supposed to.
Right.
But
well, according to Andy Taylor, they were sort of accidental. Like they went down to Sri Lanka because it was super cheap, and they just sort of winged it. And they were like, okay, John, run through that puddle, and you guys get on this boat. Like, it was really, it wasn't like this stylized thing, but those guys were so good looking, and they just, it was like a perfect storm. So then, and they shot Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio, and there's another one I'm forgetting.
Three of them at once.
Yeah. And because it was so cheap. So then, and then they got this beautiful, like, whole stylized look going on, and just launched Duran Duran, because look at the effect it had on you. It had that same effect on a lot of other people. And I remember thinking, where do they find these perfect women? Like all the David Lee Roth videos. Oh my God. I've never seen women so perfect.
Yeah, in all of these videos. And before we get on to another video, I thought something that was funny about Hungry Like the Wolf is that the outfit that John Taylor was wearing in that video was supposedly used as the basis for styling Sonny Crockett on Miami Vice.
That makes sense.
So those outfits, isn't that funny?
That makes total sense, because that video came out before Miami Vice. And we all know, or maybe you don't, Miami Vice became a series because Brandon Tartikoff wrote on a Post-it, or somebody handed him a Post-it that said MTV Cops. And they were like, oh my God, a series is born.
All the colors and the pastels.
Yeah, just the whole white suit, T-shirt thing. People guys weren't wearing T-shirts with suit jackets before that.
Or no shirt.
Yeah.
In Don Johnson's case.
I know.
But yeah, the videos just really affected everything. And even in the Grammy Awards, they started in 1984 giving an award for Best Short Form Video. It was recognized. And of course, Hungry Like the Wolf and Girls on Film won a joint award that year. But it became recognized, and people started really paying attention to this art form that was brand new.
Yeah, and then out of that too became the MTV Awards, right? The Video Awards, which that was like appointment television every year.
So such a big deal.
Right, and everybody remembers Madonna rolling around on the stage, coming down from the cake, doing her like a virgin thing. Like it just was such a cultural earthquake, and everybody in school was starting to listen to different music, which was cool to me because the radio in Buffalo was pretty narrow. You would hear pop music, you would hear classic rock, you would hear, they had like R&B stations that were playing like club music, and stuff. But nobody was really doing alternative music or, kind of underground things or stuff out of London or whatever. There was a station in Toronto that was, and we would listen to that sometimes because we would get a totally different outlook on what music was out there. But I think it introduced the idea that you didn't have to be a classic rock fan, and that was it. Well,
the good thing about it, I think, was that you could see the look for those of us that were really into fashion and,
Yeah.
it's almost like you could choose the look before you chose the music. I want to look like that. I want to be in that crowd. So I'm going to start listening to that. That's what a poser would do. And that's what I did. You look at Madonna and you're like, I like her hair. Wait, what's her whole thing?
Yeah.
And then there's the heavy metal guys. Wait, what's up with these guys? Okay, I think I want to be a bad guy, and then you're like, there's different subcultures in the look of these things. And can I pull off that look? Okay, I'm going to this crowd. It kind of laid out the crowd for you if you were in high school or junior high, certainly.
You know what's funny, Aim? I did the total opposite. I would watch and hear the music and like the music and then look at the look and go, oh, okay, I want to be part of that music.
Too.
Yeah, like for me, it worked the opposite way. And I remember very early on, MTV was playing a lot of the split ends. One step ahead of you. And I don't know why something, right? So I'm watching this and I'm like, who are these guys? Like, I don't hear this on the radio. And people in LA, like where you grew up, you had K-Rock. So K-Rock was like spinning all this stuff, right? But I had none of that in Buffalo where I grew up. So I'm like, wow, look at these guys. Like they have these funky haircuts and then the Talking Heads. Letting the days go by. I remember hearing that song and going, what is that music? And I started to really open my eyes that there was so much other culture out there, and especially the stuff that was like alternative, quote unquote, or college radio, that kind of stuff. And I would go to the record store and look for this, and then I would find other things like, the Talking Heads led to New Order, which led to The Cure, and I just suddenly was into all this new wave. It was like,
so you like Depeche Mode in that case, or did you?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I loved all that stuff. Now, mind you, I was still listening to Sean Cassidy and the Bee Gees, and like I never threw out my stuff. I don't treat my music like seasonal clothes where you put away stuff and then move on. So I was listening to a total mix of everything, and of course Styx. Like Styx was like my music diet. But adding all this stuff, it also made me see how much of the labeling and the genre stuff in music is just marketing. Right? It's just...
Oh, I was not chic enough or sleek enough to realize that. I was totally bowled over by it.
Oh, no, I kind of did, because I was also fighting the battle of, quote unquote, being uncool, right? Because I was driving around listening to, quote unquote, out of date music. And to me, it was never out of date. It was always just something I wanted to hear. And why, songs don't have an expiration date, like they don't spoil. So I was adding this stuff, and I would watch these videos, and I'm like, if you listen to it, the music is different. But you would also see around you the different segments forming. Like all of a sudden, these kids that I knew, they were listening to The Cure and New Order and the Smiths, and they were that. They were that only. And
which then, now, or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, started to be goth, or
exactly.
emo,
that
started to be other names.
Right, it all evolved into that whole goth movement. And then there were the other kids who listened to Styx and Journey and arena bands, REO, all that stuff. And it was like, never the twain shall mix, right? But I'm watching it, and I'm sitting here going, I love all this stuff. Like, I'm not going to be labeled. I'm not going to do that. And eventually, I think it did shake out where music, it's kind of all blended in now. It's sort of a melting pot, and it's probably harder to market, I would guess. But even radio, right? You hear those Jack FM stations where they had all kinds of, I think they're kind of waning now, but there for about 15 years, the last 15 years or so, there was a Jack FM station in every city. And the Jack FM format was just everything. It was like, if it was a hit, we'll play it, And so you would hear Styx and then The Cure and then whatever. And I think that radio format really grew out of MTV. and grew out of how unsegmented it was. But of course, MTV, then, there was that early honeymoon phase, and then it all became about money, right? And so then they
Then it was
started.
Alternative Nation,
Right,
Headbangers
right.
Ball, then it became that.
Then they
But
segmented it.
if you wanted to see them all together, you could watch the Dial MTV, which was, you dial in and you vote for your video, and that was just all different kinds of things, and that's where I was exposed to all the different types. But as a child watching MTV, as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, it was kind of like cartoons to me.
Mm-hmm.
David Lee Roth, as you were talking about, with the California Girls and the Just a Gigolo, he was like the tour guide, with all these crazy characters, and there's the fisheye lens.
Right.
And it was so corny, and the songs were and they were covers, the Beach Boys, and then Just a Gigolo was, I forget who, but it was just so funny. And then, you'd see Madonna with her New York background. And to me, they were kind of cartoony. So they were entertaining.
Right.
And they were all different styles. And then I would see some kind of crazy Motley Crue video and get scared. They're lighting themselves on fire. And there's like pentagrams. But they were so funny. And one of the David Lee Roth videos, Just Gigolo, he is a DJ and he falls asleep and has a dream. And he goes through the halls of this recording studio. And he goes in and there's Cyndi Lauper. Right. He breaks into all these videos. And that's when you felt like, we're all part of this.
Yeah.
There's already a parody. So there was Cyndi Lauper moving her skirts with her crazy red hair.
Yeah, it was like
into
meta.
A Billy Idol.
Yeah, it was like a meta video, right?
That's when you realize, wow, we're all in this together. Look at these funny things. Oh, there's Michael Jackson. And, there's Willie Nelson. He falls into a Willie Nelson video. And that's when I kind of noticed, oh, there's all these different types of things and we're all watching it. And it was just really fun. It was fun to watch. It was colorful. And then I loved the graphic of MTV. It was always a brick wall. Then it would move into some squigglies. And then it would be a bubble letters. And then it would be clouds. And
right.
I love graphic art. So I just thought, wow, look at that.
It was very different than the 70s. Like, even though it came out in 81, close to the 70s, 1980 was, it was a real kind of, all of a sudden the 70s were over. That was it. No more avocado green, no more yellow, orange, and brown. We are going like Technicolor. And
it was neon tubing. It was just checkers. And, and everybody started wearing the checkered Vans at that point.
Right.
And the neon came out and I couldn't believe it was just so amazing. It was just dazzling is the word. It was dazzling.
I did get confused a lot with a lot of the videos because I thought that there was some deep meaning in a lot of them. Whereas if you look back, it was probably just like some British guy going, no, we need smoke over here, something like that. But I always loved the videos where they half told a story, but not really. Like ABC, The Look of Love and Shoot That Poison Arrow. Shout out Lisa Vanderpump, right? Who was in those videos.
Yeah. How to Be a Millionaire was my fave.
Yeah, that was a great one. But so there was like they're performing, but then kind of in the background, there's like a little bit of a sort of story or something going on, but they were still like in a theater or a concert hall or something or studio. I always loved those videos because then you could see the actor or the musicians. You could see the musicians and then they're sort of understand a little bit more about what the song was about. And, that's what they're talking about. But then you contrast that with like, a Stevie Nicks video, for example. So Stevie was just all about like the look and the sort
many
of
scarves, many scarves.
Yes, many scarves. I did read that for Stand Back, Stevie did this whole Civil War storied video, like a mini movie or something.
Oh my goodness.
And then scrapped it. And there are various reasons why they say she scrapped it, but she just scrapped it. So then you ended up with the video where she's on that weird treadmill that's got neon lights and of course the fan. There's a big fan blowing. And she's got the glam 80s makeup. She looks beautiful. And I never really understood like why is she coming down this treadmill? Like it was so weird. But it was a huge hit because Stevie Nicks, right? I mean, she's Stevie Nicks. She's a goddess. And then there were the absolute weirdo nonsense videos, like the Fixx, Saved by Zero. What?
I don't remember that.
Oh my God. All the Fixx videos. I loved the Fixx. They were one of my favorites and still are. But their videos, I was like, what? They would just have these weird images, and all of a sudden they would zoom in on some guy and a thing, and you're like, what does that mean?
Well, it's like Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer. It's like these chickens, some chickens are dancing. But to me, I was so...
Oh, yeah, that's right, the rotisserie
chickens. My eyes always overtook my ears. So the song could be like, I'm going to murder you tonight and kill you. And then they would show some hearts and some balloons. And I would be like, wow, hearts and balloons. I wouldn't notice that the lyrics were like from a mass murderer, like Charles Manson or something.
I took it as the video, and I don't think this was true.
Well, that's what it was supposed to be. And that shows your intelligence there, my friend, because I couldn't help it. You at least were trying to find meaning. I was like, wow, neon.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think there was a whole lot of meaning. I think a lot of them were like, oh, hearts and
you were
balloons.
At least looking for it.
But to me, I was like, oh, this is some deep message about what this song is.
I like that you were trying to find the deep message. I was like, wow, look at that eyeliner.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
Material Girl by Madonna, which of course recreates the Gentlemen Prefer Blondes scene with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know who Marilyn Monroe was at that point. I just saw this big pink dress, and
really?
And that's where I started seeing.
Marilyn Monroe was at that 10, 11. You didn't know?
I didn't really think about it. My parents didn't show old movies. Mm-hmm. I didn't put two and two together. I did very quickly after that. I went, oh, because then they started doing a lot of Marilyn Monroe merchandising after that. Actually, it really wasn't anything before that, but I saw they were holding the hearts and the guys, and that's when I started seeing kind of the big bangs at the end when she gets in the car with the old farm truck.
Oh, right.
At the end.
He charms her.
Of course, I didn't even catch that, guys. The whole thing is she's singing about being materialistic, and at the end she's actually a simple gal.
Yeah.
And the guy gave her some old crusty daisies, and she loved them. I didn't even catch that, by the way, guys.
He charmed her by being non-materialistic. It was ironic.
It was very ironic. Didn't catch that. All I saw was her bangs in that kind of, the bangs that we all started wearing. I don't know if you did, but the big fan bangs she had. And all I could think of was, ooh, look at the bangs. Ooh, look at her headband. I wasn't thinking. I didn't hear what she was saying, really.
The bangs where you did it, it was a two-fisted process where you would fan your bangs up with a hairdryer and then spray the hairspray at the same time. So you would catch them in mid-fan. And then freeze them there. Yeah, that was mall bangs, we called them. Well, now we call them mall bangs. Back then, we just thought we were so fly, which was not the case. Speaking of not so fly, I thought there were a lot of videos that ruined the song.
Like what?
Like, I remember Marylin Martin, who is a backup singer for Stevie Nicks. Okay. And she also sang the duet with Phil Collins, Separate Lives. She was the female voice in that.
That was a big deal.
Great singer. Beautiful, beautiful artist. And she put out this album. And it was very 80s, it was of the time, let's say. But there was a cool song on it called Night Moves. And it was kind of a dramatic, those dramatic 80s songs where there was a lot of minor chords and it was like, I'm not afraid of your night moves.
All I could think of is nut moves.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the Bob Seger Night Moves. So I thought the song was really cool, but the video was this super cheesy story where she's like a Black Widow murderer, and there were like bodies hanging in a freezer, and she was like seducing and murdering these men. And I'm watching this and I'm like, what the F? Like it was just, I
feel like people did a ton of coke and came up with these awful ideas. That's all I could think, where they're like, yeah, great idea.
You're all on dope. It could be, I don't know, but maybe they were just trying to be artsy. Whatever. I just thought if you had just taken gorgeous Marylin Martin, put her in some stylized, again, with the theater and just sort of letting her do her thing, I think she would have become a legit artist. But because she had this unbelievable cheesy video. Oh, you know what's another one? Superstar, goddess who has nothing to explain to anyone, Pat Benatar. Right?
Okay.
No need to prove herself at all.
Right.
She puts out a fantastic song called Shadows of the Night. Absolutely great song. It has great dynamics. You know, her vocal's great. Of course, her husband's guitar is like the whole thing. The song is like perfection. Then they do this goofball video that's like a World War II saga where she's some kind of a pilot spy. I don't know, but the video is so cheesy, and it dates the song in people's minds, right? So even now, like you watch the video and you're like, what the hell? It was, I mean, there's like a...
No, but I have to disagree with you because I think 90%, 99% of those videos were so cheesy and the song still made it. Beat It. These gangsters are doing a choreographed ballet dance. Billie Jean, he's walking on the street and it's lighting up. Every big video was super, super, super lame and cheesy. Madonna with a friggin' lion.
See, that was cheesy.
Like
I don't think Beat It
super cheesy.
I don't think Beat It was cheesy at all. Bad was
No,
I
think
cheesy.
It was beautiful, but it was also, think about how lame all of these videos really were. I think they were all super, super... Duran Duran. I think they were all super cheesy.
Oh, I don't think those were cheesy. See, to me, if the video is just another dimension that expresses the song, that's cool to me. But when the video has nothing to do with the song, that's where like they would have these crazy storylines, and I'm like, what? I mean, Shadows of the Night, as far as I know, has nothing to do with like World War II or behind enemy lines or like bomber jackets. I don't know what's going on. And then Night Moves, the song has nothing to do with a woman killing men and hanging them all in a meat locker. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
I know, but I just have to draw on my experience of when I called Dial MTV with my sister and my friend Erin. We called for Venus by Bananarama every damn day because we pretended we were them. There's three of us, and we did the dance in the garage.
Right.
And, I looked at it the other day, and I was surprised to find that there were things about it that I hadn't even noticed because I was too busy looking at their hair and their makeup.
Right.
And it was, a vampiress biting some guy's neck, and there was a big coffin. I thought, I don't remember looking at all this. What does this have to do with anything? And then they were in hell, and one of them was writhing around in some skin-tight devil suit, and I thought, what was this on there?
Right.
I didn't even see it.
But see, this is what I mean. Like,
it's crazy.
That was another popular theme, was like the vampire. The vampire was a big kind of gotcha or something in these videos where somebody's all seductive and then at the end they turn out to be a vampire. Like,
why is there always blood and biting in the song that you're dancing to in your garage?
What do vampires have to do with Venus? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
I think one of the most famous ones was, remember Billy Squire's Rock Me Tonight video where he was dancing around in the bedroom in a pink tank top?
Stop it.
Okay, Billy Squire.
I must have turned the channel.
I'm a huge fan of Billy Squire. I loved that album. I loved his first two albums. Oh. And I love that song. It's just a fun, rock and roll song. It's a pop rock song. Super great hook and riff, and his vocals were great. There's nothing really that bad about the song. But he did this video, again, probably some guy going, I'm telling you, Billy, what we're going to do. We're going to show you all around, who knows. And so how many times have you, as a kid, or in my case, as an adult, put a song on and just danced around the house, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you're cleaning or whatever. Maybe you're in your underwear, your pajamas, and you're just like, all of a sudden you get overcome.
Like Flashdance.
Exactly.
Oh, come on, like Maniac. I mean, come on.
Exactly. You're overcome and you just start dancing around. So the video was like Billy Squire dancing around in this room. And
okay.
I don't know. It just, the images don't really fit the song. It's just weird. It's like, what is going on here? And a lot of people say, oh, it ruined his career or whatever. Well, I don't know. But I do remember that as another example of, wow, this video, like, I don't understand what's happening here. And it didn't quite match to me. So, but see, I disagree about Duran Duran videos too, because those were really stylized. And
they were very cool.
That was their identity, right? They were like these James Bonds of new wave, you know, so they were cool.
They were new romantic. They had their ruffles.
Exactly.
They had their
whole new romantic
their contoured
movement.
cheekbones, their fedoras. But, you know, I will say a band that the opposite happened, where the video made them a little more popular, was the Cars, who were already popular before MTV, I think. And they came out with that You Might Think video, which was so modern at the time. And I think it might have won an MTV award over Thriller. I hope I'm wrong.
No, I can't
Thriller
believe
was so
that.
great.
We got to look that up. I can't believe that.
Okay.
I feel like
look it up while I
Thriller
talk about it really quick.
Thriller took over everything. But you're right. Now, the Cars, they were already kind of legendary, but that did push them into a pop, I think it exposed them, I guess, to a pop audience that they hadn't really had before. You know, they had huge hits. I'm not saying they weren't well known, but you're right, that because that video was like cutting edge special effects, which is another thing I think that drove a lot of these a lot of the content, because here's this British director I'm inventing who's like, you know what, we've got this new technology and look at what we can do, and you know, we can make an animated bee on the model's nose.
It won Video of the Year in 1984 and
over Thriller.
Color
me baffled.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
but I love
totally crazy.
that. Well, I love that the use of the graphics was really cute but it was psycho. Rick Ocasek or Ocasek?
I don't know.
Rick
R.I.P.
was spying on this beautiful model. She's doing her makeup and she opens up the medicine cabinet and there he is inside. And then he's on the sponge of the bathtub.
Right. And he's in the little car. He's like driving
in the little car. He's, one of the other guys is the dentist. And then they're doing her teeth, and they're, I was like, wow, he's tiny. It's so stupid. But anyway, really, car. Really cute.
And then and then it's video. You kept it going. You kept it going. And she dumps the little car, so he falls. Yeah, that was a cool video.
He was a fly on her nose, and she bats him away. Then he's King Kong.
But
I thought it was a gorgeous video.
Also,
really fun.
That had something to do with the song. Like, you might think I'm crazy, all I want is you. So the lyrics of the song were like, hey, this guy is like in love with her and stalking her. It was a playful song. It was, the music and stuff. To me, that all fit together. It wasn't like Shadows of the Night where, telling you what we're going to do. We're going to rent a 1941, blah, blah plane, and we're going to have the people running. And there's like, they stole plans or a battle or something, and then there was like a general who was strong-arming a woman. I don't know. It made no sense.
Well, I think it was just really smart of the directors of that particular Cars video, because they hired, I think, a firm that was doing commercials and advertisements for like National Enquirer it was a different art form.
Yeah.
And they kind of brought it. So I do like that they brought something different in. Hey, let's try something different. Let's use these graphics on music instead of on the page. So I like that. I think that's really interesting.
Decisions. I think overall, I mean, who knows? I don't know what who was really deciding
but that
if it was
video
them or on their behalf.
Cost $80,000 to produce, which was triple the amount of the average budget of videos.
Can you imagine $80,000 wouldn't even like buy you a director now.
But that was like 3 times the amount of the typical, like, hey, let's have some people shimmying in the jungle, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think I loved it, and it really, really, I just thought it was just so fun.
Yeah, the Cars, their history on MTV was pretty good. Remember the Drive video, the famous one where Rick Ocasek met his future wife, Paulina Poroskova, and that was a beautiful video. And then the Since You Gone video that I saw in my early MTV infatuation, that was a cool video too. I think they had a really good handle on what MTV could do if you worked it right.
I agree, and I also think the Go-Gos, really their vision of the girls in the convertible, our lips are sealed, we're going to play in the fountain. I think that helped them develop their personality.
Right.
And also Wham. I think Wham was, when you saw them on the stage with the black lights and the shorts, you thought, oh, wow, they're high energy. They're super fun. What's going, you know? And I think that we could see the personality of a lot of these bands. Oh, they're just this fun pop group, or, oh, wait, they're really serious. I think it was just really fun in determining the personality of these musicians, and or
at least the personality that they created.
What they created, yes.
Yeah, because I can't imagine how many record labels in 1981 when MTV came out and they realized, oh my God, MTV is selling records. Like, it's not just radio now. MTV is moving product. So now all these record labels are like, okay, you know, here's the fat guy with the cigar.
Rushing,
all right, kids, we got to get a video. Hey, you know, and then they're looking at their artist rosters and they're like, okay, that guy, he's too fat, she's too ugly, you know, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden things move into some crazy direction where you have to be stylized. You have to you have to look a certain way in order to, like, I don't recall ever seeing like a Jimmy Buffett video. Do you?
Well, you know what? That was the downfall of, unfortunately, Christopher Cross. He was not music video ready.
Yeah, but
some of these beautiful vocalists.
But I gotta disagree, just to get it on the record.
To the coked out producer, not to me. Well, you know, but some of these people weren't what they thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think Christopher Cross I think he's a really handsome guy, and I love those videos. He did a video for Ride Like the Wind, and he did, there was another video, maybe it was for Arthur's Theme. They did put those in rotation, but you're right, like all of a sudden, because he's not wearing eyeliner.
He's not Simon LeBon.
Yeah, purple whatever, and a t-shirt with a coat, and because maybe it was some part of his artistry where he's like, no, I'm not gonna.
He's like, I'm not Prince.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put on. I'm not gonna wear that, you know. Or like, wasn't there a video where somebody was making a comment on the stupidity of what they were trying to make them do? I'll have to think about that for a second. But I seem to recall a couple of videos where artists were like, you know, where there was some guy going, oh, you got to wear this, you got to wear that. We're going to have the smoke and the mirrors and the babes.
Actually, some of one of those David Lee Roth videos, forget about it. He had a producer, a real cheesy producer on there with a pompadour. But, you know, another artist I think of when I think of the first videos was Prince. What did you think of those? I was like I was kind of scared of When Doves Cry, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this?"
Oh, I loved the Prince videos.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them made no sense to me.
Right.
You know, I didn't understand but half of what he was talking about. But the music and the poetry of the words and he is such a charismatic, just a superstar. He's one of those like from another planet, you know, rest in peace. But I loved his videos because to me, no matter what they were, they fit the song and they didn't ruin the song for me. Like it wasn't like Night Moves where I watched it and I was like, what? You know, I would watch it and be like, oh, I don't know what that means, but it looks cool.
So you liked his dancing in the mirror where half of his body was on, you know, what was the When Doves Cry?
Oh,
where they're all kind of walking toward the
well,
camera.
that
I tried to copy that dance not too
that
long
is a
ago. It was hard.
dated. I think that's a dated video effect. And again, one of those. We've got this. We can do a video. Reflection. Like the directors all. But it was stylized, and it was just a funky visual. It wasn't like a storyline that took away from what the song is.
What did you think of Prince coming slowly out of his bathtub during When Doves Cry?
I thought, well, first of all, I thought...
I got nervous. I was like, oh no, don't come too far out.
No, I was like, he is hot.
You thought he was hot?
Oh my God.
My sister cried and ran and told my mom, Mommy, there's a guy with hair over his eye. I was like, oh, stop.
I loved Prince. I
got in big trouble for singing Jungle Love by the time, because I didn't know what I was saying.
Well, I think a lot of people didn't know.
Do you want to make love or what? And I got in huge trouble because I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know what they were saying. I mean, She-Bop,
That's so dumb. What's the big deal? Didn't that end up on the Filthy 15 or whatever?
Well, yeah, because that's what grew out of MTV, right? Was this whole movement of
and they picked the wrong songs. There were so many worse songs than the ones they picked.
Right. I know. Twisted
Some of them were
Sister. What? Those were some interesting videos.
Those were the best videos. Okay, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, Aim, we are out of time.
Oh my.
I know. We've been ratcheting about MTV for way longer than we should.
Oh my.
So, but this has been super fun. I love reliving MTV.
I'm going to go watch some Twisted Sister videos right now, actually.
Twisted Sister!
I want to rock. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining us. We just love you guys. We love hanging out with you. So hit us up on Instagram, GlitterBeeGirls, Twitter, GlitterBeeGirls. We have a website too, glitterboomgirls.com. You might be listening to this on that very page. But in any case, let us know what you think and what your thoughts are and what your thoughts might be and blah, blah, blah. So signing off. We'll see you next time. I'm Robbie-Ann McPherson.
And I'm Amy Asbury. Goodbye.
Okay.